Hi, it's Linda from Homestead by the Lake. So today we are going to preserve some carrots. So what I'm first going to do is I have to process all these. So I'm going to peel them, put them in some water in a bowl, and then get them ready to put in jars. We are going to do the cold pack method. So the first thing I'm doing with all of these carrots is I'm peeling them, and then I'm going to leave them whole, and I'm going to place them in some water to just let them sit while I'm doing all this prep. And then I'm going to cut them all up and get them ready for the jars. All right, I'm getting my pressure canner ready. For my canner, it takes 3 quarts of water at the bottom. And I'm going to use pint jars for my carrots, and my canner fits 8 pint wide mouth jars. So I'm going to start to warm those up a little bit and start to warm up the water in here, because I'm going to have a cold product, but I want it, I'm raw packing, but you still need warm jars when you're cold packing. So my carrots are not going to be cooked. Here I have peeled all the carrots. So now what I'm going to do is, you have a choice when you're pressure canning. You can keep them whole, dice them. So I've decided I'm going to dice them, and I'm going to prep that before I get my jars ready, and we'll be back. Okay, so I'm starting to chop up all my carrots, and I decided I'm going to do the raw pack method. So what that means is your carrots, you have choices with your carrots. You can leave them whole, sliced, or diced, whichever you prefer. There's a hot pack method and a raw pack method, and I've decided I'm going to do the raw pack. So I'm not going to pre-cook the carrots. We pack the raw carrots into hot jars, so I do need to warm up my jars, leaving 1 inch headspace. You can add salt if you want to, and the rest of the process is just like the others. You rinse off your rims, you put a new lid, and then a band. And these will process at 10 pounds of pressure. Pints are 25 minutes, and I'm going to do pints. My canner holds 8 wide mouth pints at a time. So that's what I'm going to do first. So carrots was my first pressure canning experience. And you can go back in my videos. It's one of my very first videos that I ever posted. I was a nervous wreck. I read so much instructions, and at that point I was still having, neurological issues, and it literally made my brain hurt trying to figure out how to do pressure canning. With all the instructions that I watched and all the videos I watched, and then, when you're going through the process and you're almost done, and it's like, hey, you know what? That wasn't that bad. What was I so scared about? Why did I think I couldn't do it? I didn't have the confidence that I could do it. But I am so happy to have gotten all these carrots, and now, because all of my carrots that I did before, they're all gone. So this was perfect. I needed carrots. And if you're thinking about pressure canning, do it. Just study, read all the instructions, and as long as you follow all the guidelines, you'll be fine. So we're doing some nice slices, and I have a pan of water behind me over here that I am filling up with all our slices. I have no idea how many pounds of carrots I have or how many I'm actually cutting up. So I'm doing a big pan because this is a lot of carrots and I can only do 8 quarts at a time. And I really, or not quarts, pints. I really don't want to do quarts. I mean, I could do quarts should I do quarts? Because if you need carrots, you can just put the rest of them in the fridge when you open your quart jar, right? But I was thinking with the pint jar, it would probably be like exactly how much I would need for something, you know? But I could do that since I have so many carrots. But I already have the pints in there, getting ready to get warmed up. We'll just do pints this time. Maybe next time I'll do quarts. And you want to make sure that you have really nice carrots. If there's any soft carrots or anything, don't use those. Stick those in your fridge and eat them later, kind of thing. Put them in a recipe that you're going to do this week. And of course, if any are, you know, they get, you know how they get soft, don't use those. You want nice fresh carrots. So I'm gonna keep cutting away here. It's taken me all morning to just peel them, but that's okay. I'm enjoying my Saturday canning carrots. I'm totally fine doing this. This just gives me peace. It relaxes me. Not the first time I did it, but now it's gonna relax me. So I'm totally fine, except I really do have orange hands. Like they're orange. I don't know, how do you get orange off your fingers from carrots? So I'm going to keep going and then I'll be back when it's time to start to load up our jars. All right, I have gone through 1 bowl of carrots and I'm going to start my jars to get them warm. I would imagine that this is enough carrots for my first batch. So let's get started. Hi. I'm back, are you ready? I'm ready, I'm super excited. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let me see here. I have my jars that are warmed up. I have my pressure canner that's warming up. And I have my hot water that I'm going to use to fill my jars. I'm using the cold pack method, like I said. And we are going to pull out a jar and empty it. And use our funnel and fill up our jar. Now you have an option of adding salt if you want to. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave the salt out. Well, that's too much. You need to leave 1-inch headspace. And I'm going to put a couple smaller ones in there. Fill that up some. And then you fill it with warm water. Whoops, where's my funnel? And your warm water and your carrots go to 1-inch headspace. 1-inch headspace is right about where that rim starts. And this is also a handy dandy measurer. Where's the 1 inch? The 1 inch is all the way up here on my debubbler. And there we go, we are 1 inch. So now you want to debubble your carrots. You want to make sure you don't have any air bubbles in there. There we go. Now, you need to wipe your rim real well. All right, and then you get a fresh lid, one that has not been used, and a band. Finger tight, and in the canner it goes. There's our gorgeous carrots. How do they look? They look wonderful. We're on our last jar for our first batch. See, don't you agree that it seems a lot more complicated than it is? And I'm having so much fun, and I hope you are too. I hope you do some research and decide to start doing your own canning, because it's so much better for you, right? Because, like, I know how good my carrots are. I know where I got them from. I'm using all of my home materials. I know it's not contaminated. I know there's like nothing in there that shouldn't be in there, if you know what I mean. And that's just peace of mind, really and truly. And you're going to have a much better product. So here's our last jar. I'm going to put a smidgen more water in that one. Okay. We'll be back when we get ready to do our canner. Okay, my canner is full. It holds 8 jars, and I have 3 quarts of water. For whatever canner you have, you follow your instructions. Okay, so for my canner, I have a Presto pressure canner. Okay, so for my canner, and follow your canner's instructions, my canner, the steam has to come out full force on the top for 10 minutes before I put the regulator on. The regulator is set for 10 pounds of pressure, and that's for where I live. So as soon as that regulator starts to wobble, and I'll show you what that is, then we set our timer for the actual pressure cooking. But we'll be back. Okay, you hear that? See how that's wobbling? That's the wobble. So what that means is, when that wobbles, it means that there's enough pressure in the canner to preserve our carrots. And the reason it wobbles is it lets a little bit of air, a little bit of steam out to keep 10 pounds of pressure. So there we go. Now we can set our timer for 25 minutes. We got 2 bowls of carrots down. Look at all these carrots. Oh my goodness. I think we have carrots coming out of our ears. It's a good thing, right? We'll have a lot to share. So I got 2 bowls done. And now I am on my last bowl. Our timer just went off. Our 25 minutes are up. So the only thing you do at this point is turn off your burner. That is it. Do not touch it. We have to wait for the regulator to stop wobbling. There's also a locking mechanism on the back that we have to wait for that to fall back down, and that tells us that it's probably safe to open the canner. But we won't do that for quite a while. We'll be back for that. And I have my next batch of 8 pints ready, and all of my carrots are cut up. We're going to do another 8 quarts. We'll see what we end up with. All right, all is quiet with our canner. The pressure regulator has stopped moving, so we can take that off, and there's no steam coming out. The other thing is this back here, when the lid has pressure in it, that moves up, and you cannot remove your lid if that is up. So it still feels very hot, so I think it's probably still nice and hot in there. All right, all is quiet with our canner. Let's open it up and see what we have. Now, it's still going to be hot, of course, so you have to be extremely careful opening it up and opening it up away from you. See, there's still some steam in there, but it's calmed down enough that you are able to open it. I'm excited to see how our carrots did. Oh, look. There we go. Look at that. They look amazing. So now what I'm going to do is take those all out, and I'm going to let them sit undisturbed over on my table on a couple of, what are those things called? Oh, Linda. Oh, I have a couple of placemats, and I'm gonna set those over on my table, and I'm gonna let those carrots sit until tomorrow. And we'll check them for seals. And in the meantime, oh, I just heard something pop. That's a good sign. In the meantime, I am warming up our jars and our water for our next batch. All right, we are starting batch number 2 in the canner. My steam's starting to come out, so I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. All the carrots that I got done yesterday. That was a great batch of carrots. So I ended up getting 6 quarts, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 16 pints. Look at how beautiful they are. Those are some nice looking carrots. So after you take them out of your pressure canner, you want to let them sit till the next day. Of course, it takes a while for them to cool off. And let me see if I can get one of these off. Oh, they're stuck. Okay, so you want to take your band off and just feel your lid and make sure that it's popped and you have a good seal. And there we go. They go right on the shelf. It's Linda from Homestead by the Lake. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you make your own.